When I first held my granddaughter Emily in my arms 18 years ago, she was a tiny bundle of pink cheeks and wispy blonde hair, staring up at me with those wide blue eyes that mirrored her mother's. My daughter Sarah had just given birth after a difficult pregnancy, and her husband Tom was pacing the hospital room like a man who'd forgotten how to sit still. I remember whispering to Emily, "Grandpa's gonna make sure you have everything you need, little one. The world won't be so hard for you." That promise stuck with me like glue, even as life threw its curveballs. My name is Harold Jenkins, and at 72, I've seen my share of ups and downs. I lost my wife, Margaret, to cancer when Sarah was just 25. Margaret and I had built a modest life in our little house in suburban Atlanta, nothing fancy, but solid. I worked as an accountant for 40 years, crunching numbers for a mid-sized firm until retirement hit me like a freight train. The pension wasn't lavish, but combined with our savings and the life insurance payout from Margaret, it was enough to keep the lights on and then some. After she passed, I poured everything into Sarah and her family. It felt like the right thing to do. After all, family is all we have left in this world. Sarah and Tom got married young, right out of college. They were full of dreams. Tom wanted to start his own graphic design business. Sarah dreamed of being a teacher. But life doesn't always cooperate. Tom's business floundered in the early years, hit by recessions and bad luck. Sarah's teaching job paid peanuts, and then Emily came along. That's when I stepped in. "Just until we get on our feet, Dad," Sarah had said, her eyes pleading over a cup of coffee in my kitchen. I didn't hesitate. I started covering their mortgage payments, $1,200 a month on their cozy 3-bedroom in Marietta. Then came the car notes, $450 for Sarah's SUV and $380 for Tom's truck. And the emergencies, credit card bills that piled up from unexpected vet visits for their dog, home repairs, or just groceries got expensive this month. Over 5 years, I'd tallied it up in my old ledger book, $72,000 on mortgage help alone, $40,800 on cars, and another $25,000 or so on miscellaneous loans that never got repaid. Total? Close to $137,800. But I didn't mind. It was for family. All the while, I was building something secret, something sacred, the college fund for Emily. I'd started it the day she was born, squirreling away $500 a month from my pension, plus bonuses and any extra consulting gigs I picked up. I invested wisely, stocks, bonds, a bit in index funds. By the time Emily turned 18, it had grown to $120,000. I imagined the look on her face when I'd hand her the check at her high school graduation party. "This is for your dreams, kiddo," I'd say. Maybe she'd go to the University of Georgia, like her mom, or somewhere bigger. It was my way of giving her a leg up, something Margaret and I never had. Emily and I were close. She'd come over after school sometimes, baking cookies in my kitchen or helping me with the garden. "Grandpa, you're the best," she'd say, hugging me tight. Sarah and Tom, they were grateful, sure, but it felt more like obligation than affection. Calls were mostly about money. "Dad, the AC broke, $800 fix," or "Tom's client stiffed him, can you spot us $2,000? I pushed the doubts down. Family. The graduation was set on a sunny Saturday in May. I'd bought a new suit, $150 at Macy's, and polished my shoes. I even got Emily a card with a $500 bill tucked inside as a little extra. But a week before, Sarah called. "Dad, about the party, it's going to be small, just close family and a few friends. We want it intimate." I paused, phone in hand. "Intimate? I'm family, aren't I?" She hesitated. "Of course, but Emily said she wants people who are fun and positive, no drama." Fun and positive? What did that mean? I'd always been the one cheering loudest at her soccer games, buying her art supplies, but I swallowed it. "Okay, honey, tell her congrats from me." That night, I couldn't sleep. Something gnawed at me. I logged on to Facebook. I'm not big on social media, but Emily had friended me years ago, and there it was. Photos from a pre-graduation family getaway to the Bahamas. Crystal clear waters, white sands, Sarah and Tom sipping cocktails by the pool, Emily grinning in a bikini. Best family vacay ever. Only the people who make life fun and positive. Hashtag blessed, hashtag family first. The caption hit like a punch. They'd used my money for this? I checked my bank app. Sure enough, the latest emergency transfer of $5,000 I'd sent for home repairs had cleared just before their trip. Flights, hotel, excursions, easily $10,000 for the three of them. And I wasn't invited because I wasn't fun and positive? I sat in my dark living room, the glow of the screen illuminating my face. Tears stung my eyes, not from sadness, but from a boiling anger I'd suppressed for years. All those sacrifices, skipping my own vacations, eating canned soup to save pennies, dipping into retirement. For what? To be sidelined like an old shoe? I thought of Margaret. "Harry, don't let them walk all over you," she'd say with that knowing smile. I hadn't listened. The next morning, I called my old friend Bill, a retired lawyer from the firm. "Harold, sounds like elder abuse territory," he said. "Document everything." I spent the day going through bank statements, printing transfers, noting dates. The total stared back. $137,800 in help, plus the $120,000 college fund. That fund was in my name, invested through a brokerage account. Emily didn't know about it yet. An idea formed, quiet, calculated. I wouldn't blow up. I'd protect what mattered. Months passed. Sarah and Tom acted like nothing happened. Calls resumed. "Dad, Emily's starting community college. Books are $600. I sent it, but my responses grew shorter. Then came the big one. Tom had forgotten to report side gig income on their taxes, $40,000 from freelance work. The IRS audit hit, $18,000 in penalties and back taxes. "Dad, we need help," Sarah pleaded over the phone. "This could ruin us." I listened, heart pounding. "How much?" $18,000, please, for Emily's sake." That was the line that snapped me. For Emily's sake? They'd blown money on a vacation excluding me, while Emily scraped by at community college because we can't afford state uni yet. I took a breath. "Sarah, I've helped enough. It's time you handle this." Silence. "What? Dad, you're serious?" Dead serious. She hung up, but texts flooded in. "This isn't like you. Are you okay? We need to talk." I didn't respond. Instead, I met with Bill and a financial advisor. We set up an irrevocable trust for the $120,000 college fund, solely in Emily's name, accessible only at 18 for education expenses. I blocked Sarah and Tom's access to my accounts. They had view only from years ago for transparency. Then I changed my will, house and remaining savings to Emily upon my death, with a clause for her to manage it independently. The backlash was swift. 2 days later, they showed up at my door unannounced. Sarah's eyes were red, Tom shifting awkwardly. "Dad, what's going on? The bank said you revoked our access." I invited them in, calm as could be. "Sit down." I laid out the printouts. 5 years of transfers, totaling $137,800. I've given enough. The vacation? That hurt. Sarah burst into tears. "It was a mistake. Emily wanted a break before college. We didn't mean to exclude you." Tom chimed in. "Harold, we're family. That IRS thing, it's killing us. Just this once." "No," I said firmly. "You've treated me like a bank, not a father. The fund I built for Emily? It's hers now, in trust. You can't touch it." Their faces paled. "What fund?" I explained, watching realization dawn. Sarah stood. "You're cutting us off? After everything?" "Everything I've done, you mean." They left in a huff, slamming the door. Peace lasted a week. Then calls from unknown numbers. Voicemails. "Dad, we think you're not yourself. Maybe see a doctor?" I ignored them. Emily texted, "Grandpa, Mom says you're mad at us. What's wrong?" I replied, "Sweetie, I love you. We'll talk soon." But Emily intercepted, I suspect. The lawsuit papers arrived via certified mail. Petition for guardianship and conservatorship, in re Harold Jenkins. They claimed I was senile, influenced by new friends, my golf buddies, making irrational financial decisions endangering my well-being. They wanted control of my finances, citing the sudden cutoff as proof of dementia. Bill laughed when I showed him. Classic greed play. We'll crush this. We prepared. Medical eval, clean bill of health, sharp as ever. Bank records, every transfer voluntary, no loans. Witnesses, my golf group, neighbors who'd seen the entitlement. Emily? I called her secretly. Grandpa, I didn't know about the fund. Thank you. Mom and Dad, they're stressed. I know, kiddo. We'll talk soon. But Emily intercepted, I suspect. Court day, small claims room in Fulton County. Sarah and Tom sat with their slick lawyer, a young guy in a sharp suit. Their case, Mr. Jenkins has shown erratic behavior, cutting off family support, secretive trusts, paranoia about money. Witnesses, a concerned neighbor who barely knew me, and a psychologist they'd paid for a remote assessment, claiming refusal to meet was avoidant behavior. My turn. Bill presented the ledger, $137,800 in gifts. Vacation photos as Exhibit A, exclusion despite funding. My testimony. Your Honor, I built that fund for my granddaughter, not their luxuries. They saw me as an ATM. Cross-exam. Their lawyer grilled me on memory, decisions. I aced it, reciting dates, amounts flawlessly.
Judge's ruling. No evidence of incompetence. Petition denied. Costs to petitioners. Sarah sobbed. Tom glared. Outside, Emily hugged me. Thanks, Grandpa. I start at UGA next fall. Debt-free. They downsized to a 2-bedroom rental. Tom got a steady job. Sarah tutored. Me? I took a cruise. First vacation in decades. Life's too short for one-way streets. Emily visits weekly. We're closer than ever. Family isn't about money. It's about respect. I learned that the hard way, but damn, it feels good. The early years. It all started when Sarah was born. Margaret and I were young, broke, but happy. I worked double shifts at the accounting firm to make ends meet. Sarah grew up knowing the value of a dollar, or so I thought. She was a bright kid, top of her class, full scholarship to UGA. Met Tom there, an artsy type with big ideas. They married in our backyard, me footing the bill for the catering, $3,000 back then. When Margaret got sick, Sarah was there every day. Dad, we'll get through this. But after the funeral, things shifted. Tom lost his job, they couldn't make rent. Just $800 this month, Dad? It became routine. Emily's birth was a joy amid grief. I held her, promising the world. Over the years, the helps added up. 2018, $15,000 for Tom's business launch. 2019, $8,000 for Sarah's certification courses. 2020, pandemic hit, $20,000 in bridge loans. I dipped into savings, skipped my own doctor visits to save copays. The college fund started small, $10,000 seed from Margaret's insurance. I added $500 per month investing in Apple, Amazon, grew to $50,000 by Emily's 10th birthday. I kept it secret, a surprise for her 18th. Emily was my light. Grandpa, let's build a fort. We'd spend weekends in the backyard, her laughter filling the empty house. Sarah and Tom, distant. Birthday calls were brief, always ending with, by the way, can you... The betrayal builds. By 2023, the fund hit $100,000. Emily was a senior, straight A's, art club president. I want to study graphic design, like Dad, she said. I smiled, knowing the fund would cover tuition, books, dorm, everything. The mortgage help continued. $1,200 a month, auto-transferred. Cars, paid off their loans, then new ones. Credit cards, emergency balances cleared. $5,000 here, $3,000 there. I tallied. $72,000 mortgage, $40,800 cars, $25,000 MISC. My savings dwindled. Retirement was tight. Graduation approached. I bought the suit, planned the speech. Then the call. Small party. Hurt, but I brushed it. Then Facebook.
Catch Bahamas trip. Photos, Emily snorkeling, Sarah and Tom toasting. Cost, flights $1,500 each, hotel $4,000, activities $2,500, total around $10,000. My $5,000 transfer funded it. Caption, fun and positive people only. I confronted via text. Saw the trip. Happy for you, but why exclude me? Sarah, Dad, it was spontaneous. Emily needed relaxation. Lie. Posts dated weeks prior. I felt used, invisible. The cutoff. I met Bill. Protect the fund. We set up the trust. $120,000, Emily only, education restricted. Blocked accounts. Changed locks. They had keys for emergencies. Sarah's call. IRS penalty, $18,000. Help? No. Panic. Dad, are you ill? No, just done. They came over. Tears, please. For Emily. I showed the ledger. I've given $137,800. Enough. They left angry. Emily called. Grandpa, what's the fund? I explained. Love you. She was thrilled, but confused. Escalation and lawsuit. Lawsuit. Senile, influenced by golf buddies. Claims, erratic cutoff, paranoia. I joined a golf league for socialization. Prep, doctor's note, healthy. Witnesses, golf friends testified rationality. Bank records. Court, their lawyer painted me as declining. Witnesses weak. My side, ledger, photos, testimony. Not love, transaction. Judge, denied. They owed fees. Resolution and new life. Emily graduated, hugged me on stage. Thanks to Grandpa's fund. Sarah and Tom downsized, worked harder. I traveled, cruised to Alaska, $4,000, joined clubs, made friends. Life reclaimed. Family is respect, not money.